right. You guys face that way again today. Here we go. The brothers are taken by the guard back to the governor's house for his judgment. Will he keep them all there as slaves?
Governor, as soon as these men left town, it was discovered that the stole your silver cup. We couldn't decide what to do with them, so we brought them back to you.
Your Highness, can I say one thing? Please don't be angry with me for speaking more to you, because I know you are as powerful as Pharaoh. You asked us if we had another brother, and we answered truthfully. Our father is old, and the son was born to him in his old age. His brother's dead, and he's the only son left from that mother, and his father loves him dearly. You told us to bring him here to prove our honesty, and we have brought him. But if anything happens to the boy, it will kill our father, and it will be our fault. I've promised my father my own life for the boy. Please let me stay here as a slave, but let the boy return to his father. How can I return without him? Don't make me go back and watch my father die in grief.
Leave. Everyone leave. Wait, no. Not you, stay. Brothers, it's me, Joseph.
Joseph, you?
Is my father still alive?
Yes, he is.
Yes, it's me, Joseph. The same Joseph that you all sold into slavery. Don't feel bad about that. I see now God was with me even then. You all threw me in that pit and sold me off like I was some object or animal. But through that, what you intended for evil, God used it for good. He brought me here to Egypt, where there's been a famine for the past 2 years. And that famine is going to continue for the next 5 years. But because God was with me and brought me here to Egypt ahead of this famine, we were able to build these storehouses and save all these people's lives. What you all intended for evil, God was able to use for good. He was able to save the lives of so many.
Joseph.
Praise God that you're all back with me. All right, here, I have an idea. Go back to Canaan. Bring Father down here. Bring all of your wives, your children, your grandchildren, your flocks and herds. Bring everyone and everything down here to Egypt. Y'all can live with me. There's a plot of land outside of Goshen where y'all can all live together in peace. And I can take care of you.
Come on, guys.
I was going to say, go. You don't have all day.
All right.
And don't argue on the way down there. I know who y'all are.
Ah, Your Highness. The good news of your brothers has spread all throughout the land, even to Pharaoh. In fact, Pharaoh is so glad to have them. He's offered his wagons to help with their load a little later.
Praise be to God. Tell Pharaoh I thank him for his approval.
When the brothers got back to Canaan and told their father that Joseph was alive and was the ruler over Egypt, he couldn't believe it. But the more they talked, telling him of everything Joseph had said and showing him all the wagons and supplies that Joseph had sent to carry them back, Jacob finally began to believe them and grew excited to see his long-lost son again. They quickly loaded their families and began traveling back to Egypt with all their flocks and herds. This time the trip was a happy one. Joseph, his 66 sons and grandsons, and all of their mothers went to Egypt. When they arrived in Egypt, Judah went ahead to get directions to Goshen, and Joseph met them there. He instructed them to tell Pharaoh when they met the king that they were shepherds. That way he would let them stay separate from the Egyptians in the area of Goshen, because Egyptians did not like to live around shepherds. Joseph arranged a meeting with Pharaoh at the royal palace to present his family.
Great and powerful Pharaoh, I come to you today bringing my brothers and my father. I ask you that with your permission they might stay here on the land and live with us. This is Reuben, Simeon, Judah, Gad, Zebulon, and my youngest brother, Benjamin.
Welcome, brothers of Joseph, to Egypt. What is your occupation?
Your Majesty, we are shepherds, like our ancestors. We've come here in search of the green pasture which the famous deer in our land. We request to stay in the land of Goshen.
Joseph, now that your family has arrived in Egypt, I want you to give them any land that you see fit. Goshen is fine. And if any of them have any special skills, I want you to put them in charge of my livestock.
It would be my honor to see them serve you, Pharaoh. And may I lastly present to you my father. This is Jacob, the son of Isaac, the son of Abraham.
May the Lord God Almighty, creator of heaven and earth, bless you and your people, and cause his face to shine upon you, and give you peace, and bless the land of which he has put you.
How old are you, revered father?
130 years old, but not as old as many of my ancestors. May the Lord God Almighty continue to bless the king he has placed over this great land.
Jacob, whom God had renamed Israel, lived 17 years in Egypt. In all, he lived 147 years. Just before he died, he called for Joseph and his brothers to come to him.
My son, make me a promise. Promise me that you will not bury me here in Egypt, but you will bury me in the land of my fathers, and that I can lay in peace beside them in my inheritance.
It'll be done, my father. I'll see to it personally.
Many years ago, when I was in Bethel in Canaan, God gave me a vision that someday my children would have that land, and that they would grow and spread beautifully as powerful tribes over that land. I am going to now adopt your two sons as sons of my own, and they will have equal share with me. Bring me your sons.
Wait, father. Manasseh is the oldest one. Shouldn't he get the blessing from your right hand?
Thank you, my son, but I know what I'm doing. The younger son will actually grow to become more powerful than the elder. Lord God, the God of my fathers Abraham and Isaac, the God who's been my shepherd all the days of my life, who has rescued me from every evil, bless these boys. May they grow to cover the earth with their children. My sons, I wish to tell you what is to come. Someday, each one of you will grow to become a great nation and tribe. All of you, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Zebulon, Issachar, Dan, Gad, Asher, all of you will become a great tribe and nation.
Joseph kept his promise to Jacob and buried him in Canaan. A huge funeral procession, Hebrews and Egyptians, traveled to Canaan to the cave where Abraham was buried. After a long ceremony, they returned to Egypt. Now that their father was gone, Joseph's brothers were afraid that he might pay them back for all the wrongs that they had done to him. So they went together to Joseph to beg for their lives.
Joseph, please, do not repay us the harm we did to you.
Joseph, please don't harm us like we intended to do you. Please, I beg you.
Please, we'll be your slave if you let us live.
God that I should judge or punish any of you? You're my family. What you all did years ago, selling me into slavery in Egypt, was done for evil, was done with every wrong intention. But God used it for good, so that many people's lives can be saved. And now, because he brought me here and was with me, I became a prince of Egypt, who managed to save the lives of so many people.
One day God would send another prince, a young prince whose heart would break. Like Joseph, he would leave his home and his father. His brothers would hate him and want him dead. He would be sold for pieces of silver. He would be punished even though he had done nothing wrong. But God would use everything that happened to this young prince, even the bad things, to do something good. Like Joseph, God would use him to rescue his people. This prince would forgive the sins of the whole world.